Most of the cemeteries in Durban are full, with less than 5,000 unused graves left. The global shortage of burial space in cities is in the spotlight at the second Pan-African Cemeteries and Crematoria Conference in Durban. It aims to raise core issues facing the cemetery and crematorium sector in Africa. For more on this topic, Head of Parks, Recreation and Culture at the eThekwini Municipality, Thembinkosi Nkobo, joins us from our Durban studio. Very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Talk us through the issue. How did we find ourselves in this situation where we've run out of space?
Yes, Jane, it has been a long time coming, actually, as we said, almost about 12 years ago, where we warned that we're facing a serious crisis which is going to be coming to hit us at this time. Yes, it has now come to that point. It's crunch time in this city, specifically. Even though it's happening also in other cities, we're only left with less than now 5,000 grave sites, which are going to be exhausted come end of January next year. So this means in our city we won't be having any grave sites at all come that time. I'm talking to you about 5 out of 65 of cemeteries that we had, which gave us a total of 550,000 sites, are now closed. Only 5 of them are operational, and we'll then find these 5,000 spread across the city among these 5 cemeteries.
You said you've been warning about this for a while. What has the response been to that?
Well, we have received a response already, which I think bordered more on disbelief that such a thing is possible, because people would point out to the vast tracts of land that are available. And I think at times maybe the issue will then turn political in the sense that people will say, oh no, there is land that we must take from so and so and make it available for this or that purpose. But in actual fact, what we've been trying to tell people is that even though you can get new lands to establish cemeteries, but they're still going to be faced with a similar problem so many years down the line, because they also are going to be filling up and you still have to acquire more lands, which then means, in actual fact, more land which is supposed to be used for other purposes will be used only for burial purposes. So we have then asked them to look into other alternatives which we have put across to them. But unfortunately, this service, we know it's a very sensitive one and is viewed mainly or exclusively within really the realm of either culture or religion.
Yes, and that is why it's making us
make it very impossible.
People are saying, excuse me, the alternatives, obviously crematoriums or mausoleums. How do you deal with cultural and spiritual sensitivities here?
That is why over the last 10 years we've been engaging with traditional leaders and religious leaders, because we are saying to them, actually, the life as we know it so many years ago has now changed. And things that we used to do, the practices that we used to have, those will no longer be sustainable given the restrictions we have in terms of the availability of land. So some of them, I think, have started to listen to these messages, but then you still find it very difficult to go across. But in my view, I think at some point, once we have all the leaders from various sectors standing up and take a stand on the matter and educate the public, that is when we're going to see the changes. So right now it has been very difficult to come across.
Excuse me, jumping in here, that's not going to be a quick solution. It's not going to happen quickly. What happens when you do run out of space in January?
Well, the city and also the deputy mayor of the city, Councillor Belinda Scott, made, I think, a very firm political commitment that they are going to try by all means to get a land. But in actual fact, even though we may get it as a city, it will take us anything between 10 and 15 months to lay the necessary infrastructure before you turn into any piece of land into an appropriate burial site. So it's still going to be difficult. But at the same time, some 6 years ago, a city gave us a resolution to pilot in one of the cemeteries in the city, Loon Road Cemetery, where actually what we proposed was to reopen the old graves that were used like 15 or so years ago, and if there are any remains that are found, they will move them into smaller sites and then will make available those grave sites for new burials. If this were to happen as a pilot, that will then mean practically in the next few years you will have more than 30,000 sites from the established cemeteries being available for reuse. So I think, in my view, that is an option that can only assist us in solving the problem that we have.
Well, good luck. I think that's going to be rather a touchy one as well.